It was basically the same week, right around the same week as that Vikings game a couple years ago that did not end the Bills' way after a back-and-forth affair. This one, 9 lead changes. It comes out the Bills' way, right? And we haven't seen that happen in a lot of these games over the years, generally on the other side of those games of the year, right? The Chiefs, of course, in the playoffs, and the Vikings game, the Rams game last year. But this one did. The win against Baltimore did week 1. That was great. And you never know. I mean, it's one game, and it doesn't matter how it happens. It's getting another W in the win column. The Bills go to 8-3. Welcome back to the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show here on a Buffalo Football Victory Monday. Sal Capaccio with you on WGR, presented by Catholic Health, the right way to care. Brought to you by Northwest Bank. For what's next, get started at northwest.com and by Northtown Hyundai, Western New York's premier Hyundai dealership. Shop online at northtownhyundai.com. You can give a call here today. Open phone lines now, as we always do on a Monday, 803-0550. We're going to wrap this game up, move on to the next game because it's going to happen in just a few days from now. Thursday night football, Bills at Texans. Very, very good Texans defense the Bills are going against. We'll find out more this week if C.J. Stroud will be available. He's missed a couple of games in concussion protocol for the Texans. Davis Mills threw 41 times yesterday against the Tennessee Titans. Speaking of C.J. Stroud, him being injured, in concussion protocol, not playing, let's get to the Barnes Firm injury report. Brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help, call 1-800-8-million. That's who we're watching mostly on the Texans side. And, of course, anything else that comes up on the Bills side, it's really, I think, probably Mecole Hardman from this game. That's it. His calf injury. He had the fumble, and we didn't see him after that. Thought it was because he put the ball on the ground. He said no, it was more because of the calf injury. He was ruled out. Quick turnaround. Not sure we're going to see Mecole Hardman yet this Thursday on a quick turnaround. Did not get any other injuries on the sidelines yesterday during the game. I will note that some of you pointed out that Cole Bishop did not play the last series or so. And then he was stretching his hamstrings on the sidelines. So we'll see if there's anything with that today when Sean McDermott meets with the media later this afternoon. But obviously, Mecole Hardman from the game. Now, independent of this game happening, other injuries, notable injuries we're watching this week for the Bills. Of course, Dalton Kincaid. Hamstring. We'll see if it's too early for him. You put him out there now, and maybe you can, but if not, then he gets another 10 days before the next game. And then you also have, of course, Shaq Thompson, and seeing if he's going to be available in this game. So there's a few notable players on the Bills side we'll be watching out for, and we'll give you the updates as the week goes on. That's the Barnes Firm Injury Report, brought to you by the Barnes Firm. Injured for help, call 1-800-8-million. We are live streaming right now on the YouTube channel and on Twitch. Head over there, WGR 550 on YouTube, and say hello. Nick and Josh and Walter and X Element and that guy Ty, AC. Who else we got in here? Gabe, as always, Nick and Depew. A lot of you. Thank you very much for coming aboard. Love it. All right. You keep the chat box going there. I'll keep the phone calls rolling with Adam in Indiana. Hi, Adam.
Hey, Sal. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think it was encouraging to see that we were throwing the ball down the field, and you might have touched base on it already, but I don't think I could take another snap of a wide receiver bubble screen. They were way too often, I think. And when's the last time that we've thrown a running back screen? With Cook in the backfield, his yak yards. Do we have the personnel to do that?
Well, they tried one again. I could tell you they tried one against Kansas City. They got blown up badly.
Okay.
I'm not saying they should never try it. I agree. I'd like to see it more. I just don't know if it's in their arsenal to run it effectively, and I don't know why. You know what I mean? Like, that's just – they have an athletic enough offensive line, but, there's a lot that goes into those. But, yeah, they did try one against Kansas City that I remember got blown up pretty badly.
Okay. And do you see the Coleman issue? I'm not going to get super deep into that, but do you see Gabe Davis maybe taking a starting role over Keon and – putting him either on the outside, and then also say Hardman comes in with his calf injury. I don't know what the timeline is on that, but do you see him more of a Isaiah McKenzie role with the jet sweeps and the speed game?
Mecole Hardman, that is, you're talking about? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Elijah Moore's been that guy. I think Mecole Hardman's here to return punts and kicks. That's what I think. He's here to return punts and kicks, and then you throw him in there once in a while to be that guy, maybe. That's for sure. As far as Gabe Davis starting role, maybe. He'll play more. You get 3 elevations with Gabe Davis, so he can be elevated 3 times. Mecole Hardman's already on the 53. He's your punt returner taking place of Brandon Codrington. We'll see where that goes. I don't know. I think Tyrell Shavers is the guy you point to as the starter, right? The starter over... but he's been a starter. He's actually been on the field more. I think I mispronounced. I missaid. Thanks to Coach Ronald who texted me. Always the teacher in you, Coach. Correcting me, saying, Sal, you said 8-3. Maybe you're predicting a victory in Houston. They would be 8-3 if they win. They're 7-3 now, so my apologies on that. But that's right. Always the teacher listening, but I appreciate the attentiveness on that. And to you, at 803-0550, Alex in Rockland County. Hi, Alex. By the way, real quick, getting connected there via text or tweet or call and anything. It's Getting Connected with Our Fans, brought to you by Northtown Kia, Western New York's #1 Kia dealer. Shop online at northtownkia.com. Now, here you go, Alex. I'm sorry about that.
All good. Good morning.
Yeah.
2 points, 1 offense, 1 defense. On offense, I was really concerned heading into this game with no Kincaid and no Shakir. Not no Shakir, but no Kincaid and no Palmer. And then those were our top 3 targets heading into the season. Heading into this game was Kincaid.
Wait, hold on. Palmer played. Do you mean Coleman?
I meant heading into the game. I didn't. Yeah, Palmer did play, but we didn't know.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, he was trending pretty well, but I get it. I get your overall point though, for sure.
Yeah. So I love to see the way we use the running backs. That was one of our staples last year. Getting the running backs in the receiving game. But I had 2 questions, 1 question and a 1 point on defense. Shavers, he's 26 years old. He's not a young kid.
Yep.
Right. He's been around. He's been on the practice squad. Really kind of a great story to just kind of never quit, just keep grinding and being patient and good things happen. Like McDermott said, when you work hard, you get the ball. And he's definitely put in the work. But I want to hear your thoughts about Shavers, just because I don't have a lot of tape on him. I don't know exactly what kind of game he has. And I have 1 more point on defense. I don't know if you want me to wait or...
Go ahead. You go ahead, and I'll address everything. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm really, really happy to see that Poyer and White are on this team, but not for what they do on the field. And yes, Poyer has been stepping up, but how they have been being mentors and the coaches without being a coach. It's no secret that
Poyer.
His name. Poyer has helped tremendously get Cole Bishop. I got the wrong Cole. Cole Bishop to step up, and Hairston is really kind of coming into his own a little bit. So the future of our DBs is looking great, and I think that was brilliant by McDermott or whoever to bring on these 2 vets. So that was the point on defense. But really, if you can give me some insight on Shavers, would love to kind of hear more about this kid because I'm starting to fall in love.
He's not slow. When he was coming out of high school, he was timed at a sub 4.4 guy. He's not quite maybe there right now anymore. I don't know. He's 26 years old, but he's a guy that can still run. And I think the biggest thing about him that I think about is his demeanor. He is a no nonsense business guy. What I mean by that is, I was so struck, Alex, about this young man and the way that he responded yesterday, just in the post-game interview, the locker room. He never, and I know this about Tyrell. I've gotten to know Tyrell a little bit over the last few years, obviously, being here. He just never gets too high, and he never gets too low. And I love that about his demeanor. And he's so grounded, and he is such a hard worker that he deserves everything that's coming to him right now. Now, on the field, his hands are what separate. He has great hands, and I think he understands the nuances of playing a position at the NFL level, and you saw that yesterday with him taking it upfield. What's funny, Alex, is he said that's not what he's normally supposed to do when Josh on the scramble drill. But he looked, he peeked, he saw an opening, and he took off, and Josh saw him, and I love that about him. So there you go, buddy. Hope that helps.
Thank you so much, man. That was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. I'm telling you, I know it might not mean a hill of beans to a lot of people to say this because it's the off the field stuff. This kid's demeanor is great. I call him a kid. He's 26. I mean, he's been around. He's been here for 3 years. He's older than Gabe Davis, I think, right? Or just the same age as Gabe Davis, whatever. They're the same age. You wouldn't even know that. And he just never gets too high, never gets too low. I love Tyrell Shavers for that. Team player, hard worker. You want to know about Tyrell Shavers? Watch him play special teams. Maybe Tyrell Shavers is the Mac Hollins replacement that everybody's upset that they don't have Mac Hollins anymore. I don't know. Maybe he's a Keon Coleman replacement after what we saw yesterday. By the way, speaking of Keon Coleman and the situation yesterday, I'll read you this. This is from Dan Duggan, who is a writer for The Athletic, covers the NFL, says his sources say Giants rookie linebacker Abdul Carter was benched for the opening drive of yesterday's loss to the Packers for missing a walkthrough. He was asleep at the team facility at the time of the walkthrough. Abdul Carter, who I would say is definitely making more of an impact on the field than Keon Coleman has. So there you go. Another guy, young player. I mean, you gotta be mature enough and professional enough, and not everybody has the same timeline on that. But it's got to happen now for Keon. It's got to happen now. You can't. You're in the middle of a season. You're trying to win. This team talking about this today, dealing with this today, is not what we want to be talking about and dealing with. I'm sure they don't. Should be talking about a Buffalo football victory Monday, and we are. But this is a part of the storyline, and it shouldn't be. Let's go to Anthony in North Carolina. Hi, Anthony.
Hey, Sal, thank you for taking my call. I want to talk about so Josh Allen and the passing game, man, there looked like there was a huge resurgence. And also, I was going to ask, is this the version of Josh Allen and the offense, we thought we'd see all season? I mean, that's what it looks like to me, but honestly, I thought it was very, very electric the way Josh Allen was playing and the way the wide receivers were playing. But I'll hang up and listen. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, I mean, I would think 300 plus yards passing and 6 touchdowns is absolutely a version we'd love to see. Thought we'd see, right? It just hasn't come to fruition, a lot of that. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it is an offense that looked more efficient and more comfortable and more fluid yesterday in so many ways. 803-0550 is the number to call here on the Northtown Automotive Extra Point Show on WGR. We do have some open phone lines, and we have time for your calls. But first, let's get to Tony in Buffalo. Hi, Tony.
Hey, what's going on, Sal? Sal, we all know the importance of continuity on the offensive line. My question is going to switch to the other side of the ball and the shuffling in and out, largely due to injury and some suspension, especially on the interior. Is it possible that it's just a matter of getting some time together as a unit, despite the in and out that's a part of that unit? Could we see an improvement to the run defense just from getting some continuity together, on the defensive front? And if, aside from that, who are our best run defenders right now? Like if you had to, I guess we probably couldn't go Ogunjobi and Daquan Jones, on a regular basis because you might not get a push up the middle.
Well, I think Deion Walker is probably, becoming that guy, but he's also more of a boomer bust guy at times. I mean, he's a rookie and he's still learning a little bit. But you see the talent, you see the tackles for loss, and then every once in a while you'll see him also get, taken out of a gap where he's supposed to be, because he takes the wrong angle or something like that and doesn't attack it right. That's part of being a rookie. I think Ogunjobi is probably like Daquan Jones is just a kind of a consistent, steady guy, but I do agree. Let's go to your main point, Tony. I agree with you, and I will tell you, yes, it does matter. It matters, the continuity. Now you are dealing with a coach and a defensive system that they love to rotate those guys anyway, simply just to keep everybody fresh. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you're shuffling the roster and you're not playing next to the same person all the time, that matters because you do understand the different nuances of that guy and you and how you play together. It is a defense that relies on everybody understanding each other's roles. Hope that helps.
It does.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. I appreciate the phone call. We go from one Tony to another Tony. Hi, Tony.
I guess I'm the Tony.
You're the Tony.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was just wondering about Trey White. Since he's obviously slowed down a little bit, why not think about converting him to safety like they did with Abe Woodson and some of those other all-pro guys?
I would say we have asked the Bills about this in the past. That was something that they just said is not going to happen. And I would say the biggest reason is because he's not physical enough. He's not big enough. The Bills ask their safeties to play downhill. They ask their safeties to play in a box. Now, if it's, let's say, a 3rd and 18 and you want to put a guy back there to be able to kind of roam, that's a little different. But if you're talking about an actual safety, I just don't think Trey White is big enough or physical enough to be able to do that. That's not his game, especially not in this system where the Bills think about the safeties that play. Cole Bishop, look what he does, Tony, right? Look at Jordan Poyer, Damar Hamlin. Like, that is not Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, I agree. I can't dispute that.
Yeah, so that would be the reason that I would say for that. 803-0550. We'll get to your wrap up of week number 11 here in a little while, because week number 12 gets going with a bang with the Bills on Thursday night. And of course, it's all going to be right here on WGR Sports Radio 550 and on the Buffalo Bills Radio Network. Speaking of on the radio network, we have the Sabres Radio Network tonight. They're taking on the Western Conference champs 2 times over, the Edmonton Oilers, and Connor McDavid. And Lindy Ruff, after practice today, said that Michael Kessering is still being evaluated some more today, expected to miss some time. Jason Zucker may be back by the weekend, and Josh Norris is progressing and ahead of schedule. So that's good news. Norris and Zucker on the ice today for the morning skate in non-contact jerseys. So, we'll hope that those guys keep progressing, and hopefully Kessering isn't really bad, because I know that he was in a boot, I guess, the other day after the game, and Lindy Ruff said it didn't look good, but we'll get more information as they go forward. Sabres Oilers tonight, 7 o'clock here on WGR. Griffin is on a cell. Hi, Griffin.
Hey, Sal. Happy Victory Monday. I just got a quick thing I want to mention. I want to see how you might defend it. Do you think that there's a culture issue with Sean McDermott playing the Bills play up to their opponents and then also playing down to their opponents? Because the losses this year, the teams that really shouldn't have lost to, and then these wins, like outstanding wins against the Chiefs, against the Bucks, the Ravens, it looks like 2 completely different teams that they're just, sometimes they're ready for it, and other times they just sleeping on the field.
Well, obviously you believe that. Why have you not? Have you? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you didn't even give me a chance to how you describe defend it. I think it's no. The answer is no. I wish you would have stayed on the line, because I would have asked you, like, why do you think there's a culture issue when you talk about that this year, when they have won 5 straight division titles, and they have beaten a lot of good teams along the way to do that. So they win, 12, 13 games. You're going to drop a game once in a while. It sucks, and they definitely have not played their best against some of the teams. So you want me to defend it? I'm not. I just think that you're wrong. We'll take a timeout. 803-0550. Here, no, actually, let's not take a timeout right now. We'll do that. We'll stay right here right now, because we're a little bit early on that. But anyway, just say, no, I wish you would have stayed on the line, because you could have told me why you think there's a culture problem. Now, if you want to tell me that, like, hey, they have, in a vacuum, they've played better against the better teams like the Chiefs, the Bucks. They've played lesser against the lesser teams like the Dolphins or the Saints, even though you win the game. Hey, absolutely. Is that a culture problem? No. Might be just the fact that you're not as good as, as teams in the past who just boat race everybody. And maybe there's what we've called before a playoff fatigue, inability at times compared to years past to maybe get up for every single game the way you used to. I don't know. I definitely would not say there's a culture problem, though. I think the culture is very strong in Buffalo, and it has been for years. And I think anybody who's watched this team, who's been around this team, would say that. So, but you could feel differently, obviously, Griffin. Let's go to Kevin in Buffalo. Hi, Kevin.
Sal, what's going on, baby? Bills Monday victory. Listen, I was looking at the stats, and I saw that Jordan Poyer had 21 tackles.
No, he didn't. He had 11.
He had 11. I'm sorry. He had 11 tackles.
21 would be one heck of a – that'd be an amazing stat right there. He had 11.
Right, but you had Jordan. You got Poyer. You got your safety making 11 tackles.
Yeah.
That's not good, man.
Yeah, I agree.
And I was watching 58. I'm drawing a blank on
That's
his
Matt
name.
Milano.
Milano. He looked totally out of place. That's not the same Matt Milano that first came here. He's just, guys, he looked like he was just whiffing guys. I'm like, Milano, what are you doing, bro? But again, we go back to our front line, that shuffling, moving guys around, moving guys in and out. How can a guy get used to another guy next to him when he's in one play and out the next? Because on a couple of those runs, they were like just your basic runs where guys was just like, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be over there? Aren't you supposed to be? It's like, are you kidding me? If we don't shore up that defense and being able to look at the run, teams are going to exploit that and kill us. You get a good running back. That guy, what was he, like a fourth rounder?
Teams have done that all year. I mean, they're one of the worst run defenses in the league. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not nothing new that's been happening, Kevin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we got to fit, man. We talking about, playing. But I tell you what was good for me to see. Actually see Josh when he scored that last touchdown, the way he let out that scream.
Yeah.
That scream was like, yes!
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's the scream that gets everybody back on track.
I got you, buddy. It was good emotion for sure. I love that. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate the phone call. Yeah, that was good to see that emotion come out of him. Let's go to Jordan, who's up next. Hi, Jordan. You're on WGR.
Hey, Sal. Good morning. How are you? Happy Victory Monday.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks, buddy. I just want to talk about Gabe being back in our lineup here. I've always been a big fan of Gabe. Very happy to see him come under some different circumstances yesterday. We can talk about that at a later date. But, great to see him make a big catch on the first drive. Everyone calls him Big Game Gabe. I just think he's going to have a difference here in our lineup coming in the future. And, naturally had a drop there in the end zone in the first couple drives. But I think it's good to have on the squad. I'm happy to have him back and, have back all of our senior guys that, we once did away with, but on the way back home.
Yeah, you got it. No problem. Thank you. And I think Gabe Davis can make a difference as well. There was a play in this game that might be a little nondescript. Might have been a third down, though. It was a catch, maybe a conversion, but there was a play where Josh rolled out to his right. Bills were moving right to left, by the way, on this, if you're watching at home. From their bench going right to left. And Josh rolls to his right, a little off script. And Gabe just kind of finds the soft spot in the zone and just settles down a little bit. And Josh finds him and he hits him. And I thought to myself, man, that's just like something's been missing. He knew exactly where to be, exactly when to be there. And he did. And it was great. And I think that's exactly what Gabe Davis brings to the table for the Buffalo Bills. Plus a willing blocker, a guy that you play in any situation. And it just looked differently yesterday. And I do think it looked different because you had Shavers and you had Gabe Davis who kind of understand those nuances. And it doesn't matter what's happening in every play. There's maximum effort, attention to detail, and understanding the job and the role. And that's what you weren't getting from Keon Coleman maybe on the field sometimes. And now you get the issue with him being late, has a discipline issue. And I do think everything's on the table for me to think about how they might react and treat this going forward, whether or not he's active, not active, all that stuff that comes into play now Thursday night. Maybe this becomes the best thing that's ever happened to Keon Coleman. You hope that's the case, that he understands, he learns. And he says, I'm right now, bam, growing up, doing everything I'm supposed to do, becoming a professional, taking charge of what I can take charge of and control. Maybe that's the best thing. Maybe it's the best thing that ever happened for him. Because the alternative is to keep happening. You just can't have him as a part of the lineup, much less part of the team, if it continues to happen. And you don't want to go down that road. So let's hope that's not the case. And we'll see where it goes this week. We'll hear from Sean McDermott at 3:30 p.m. today when he meets with the media, followed by coordinators. The Bills have a short week this week. They will have a normal Wednesday practice moved to Tuesday this week. So normally Tuesday's the day off for players as they lead into a Sunday game. That's not the case this week. Tomorrow will be their kind of main practice day where we'll get injuries. And then Sean McDermott, Bills head coach, will be on with me on Wednesday this week.